You know what really chaps my tuchus? Leaving something to marinate all day only to take it out of the oven and it's got the consistency of a snow tire. Not anymore, my friends. Introducing the Meter Plus, the world's first truly wireless leave and meat thermometer with a water-resistant stainless steel design. I mean, this thing is a thing of beauty. It is designed with internal and external temperature sensors to ensure the perfectly prepared meat for any meal. The charger includes a built-in Bluetooth repeater, allowing range to extend up to 165 feet. That's over half a football field, fellas. The companion app, available for iOS and Android, provides recommendations for meat preparation, tracks finish and resting time, and saves cook history. Don't be stubborn, grill masters. This is a necessity for amateur cooks. Go to meter.com, get yourself a meter. Perfect cook every time. Let's go. Bye.
Hey, 3, 2, 1, and good morning, and welcome to your Tuesday edition of the Morning Jog. My name is Matt Cohan, and I am joined as always by the handsome and talented Francis Ellis and Robbie Berger. Hello, boys.
Francis
Hi.
with a nice yawn right there.
I
that
had
he's
one. It
fighting
was
through.
coming on, and I didn't want to be rude, but at the same time, not yawning for me, it sets me backwards.
Jesus, man. Excuse my buddy Robbie's. It looks like he had an interaction with the sun today for all you guys at home.
Folks, just don't fuck with the sun. You're going to lose every single time. It's just people got to look at my sunburn and they got to stare at a fucking penguin all day because Matt decided to wear a penguin shirt. So we're really not helping out the crowd here.
I was hoping you couldn't see it here. But hey, as Johnny Drama once said, that's going to turn into a maple syrupy brown tomorrow.
One can only hope. That doesn't hopefully down the road that does happen. Right now, I'm hurt.
Brighter days ahead, buddy. All right, guys. As always on the jog, we are delivering you the 3 hottest stories of the day with nothing but the correct opinions. So without further ado, guys, stop me if you've heard this before, but Florida is fucking it up for the rest of us. Multiple sources confirm that the Marlins played despite having 3 players learn Sunday that they tested positive for COVID-19, just 2 days after a 4th player learned of a positive test on Friday. 2 infectious disease specialists told The Athletic on Sunday that those positive tests fit the definition of a, quote, clear outbreak of the virus within their team, but sources said those tests were not enough for either MLB or the club itself to give serious consideration to postponing this game. Marlins manager Don Mattingly said that his team, quote, never really considered not playing. The team's most respected veteran, shortstop Miguel Rojas, told the media afterward that all 30 players discussed the situation that morning, but said not playing was, quote, never our mentality. Sources familiar with the MLB protocol said that the league have done full contact tracing following the positive test, tested all remaining Marlins players, and based on the decision not to intervene in part on the fact that no other players tested positive or reported symptoms. It's since been reported that 8 more players and 2 coaches with the Marlins have tested positive for COVID, and as a result, the Marlins home opener against the Orioles have been canceled. Francis, it appears Rob Manfred has a shit sandwich on his hands, huh?
Yeah. Miami is the virus epicenter now, and it's only fitting that their baseball team is an extension of that. Someone was telling me that the MLS, or MLS as you're supposed to say, has just decided that if a certain team has a multiple cases, they just get cut from the league for this season, which is pretty funny. But imagine if the MLB turned into like survival of the fittest. It's just like whichever team is left standing at the end.
Literally, whatever team is left standing.
Yeah, would win the World Series. I think that'd be kind of funny, given how statistic-driven baseball is. It doesn't bode well, I don't think, for baseball, especially for sports in general. I think it's a pretty damning illustration of the sports that have gone any way other than the bubble model. And it honestly makes me appreciate the NBA and what they did and the fact that their players are sucking it up with their crappy meals and hotel rooms, because I feel more confident in the NBA. But boy, to get as hard, far as baseball's gotten, and to be this close and to have things shut down if they were to, would be really a bummer.
Yeah, everybody wanted sports back. We were so excited. However, this was the thing that everybody was kind of afraid of, that nobody really wanted to talk about, just because we just wanted sports back so bad. I think it's up to like 11 players now. It honestly could end up really being a disaster, because you really don't know what to do. It's not like you could bring the guys back the next day or two. Who knows how good of the players they were, starting pitchers, whoever it may be. But if you told me before the season started that if there was going to be one team, the first team that was going to get contracted with COVID to the degree that they have, it was a no-brainer that it was going to be the Miami Marlins.
Wouldn't it be kind of poetic if it was the Astros, like the only team that got cut
Yeah.
cheap, and then they just all go down? That would have been.
Actually, you know what? That's a good point.
I have a feeling. I have no basis for this, but like MLB players seem like the people who would care the least about like COVID, who would take like the least precautions, or they chew dip while they're on the job. It's like they're probably just all like, I don't know. I don't know why.
I think it would be hockey players. I think hockey players just want to play. They don't care. I mean, they'd be on the ice if they have it or not. Not saying that's the right thing to do. These guys are they just want to play.
Yeah.
But it's just.
I'll do you one better. I got rodeo cowboys. I think that guys who ride bulls and bucking broncos for a living and travel from city to city and break their collarbones and put a Band-Aid on it, those are the guys that wouldn't care if they got COVID.
Is rodeo in a bubble right now? Did they do a rodeo bubble?
Francis,
I don't know.
I'll Venmo you $50 if you can name one professional rodeo rider.
Butch Haskins.
Sounds right.
If there isn't one, there will be within the next 5 years, I guarantee.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, fellas, the MLB isn't the only pro league in a pickle, as WNBA players have been incentivized to opt out of their 2020 season with a lucrative pledge from Kyrie Irving. Irving has committed $1.5 million to support the income of WNBA players who have chosen to opt out of their season, whether because of coronavirus concerns or social justice reasons. According to ESPN, the pledge will provide players with a financial literacy program created by UBS. WNBA players Natasha Cloud and Atlanta's Renee Montgomery have already opted against playing for social justice reasons, but it remains ambiguous how many other players will opt into Kyrie's program before the August 11th deadline. Robbie, should Kyrie earn my respect for this one?
I'm still thinking of that myself. I just don't know how to feel about Kyrie Irving. I think the whole world really doesn't know how to feel about Kyrie Irving. One day you can't stand him. One day you find out that he donates this or that, so you kind of got to love him. I'm so in the middle on whether or not I like Kyrie Irving. I also think this kind of comes back to the fact that he's made it clear that he doesn't want to play, and I think he wants to see that continue into other leagues. So I think that affects kind of why he did it. But I just think the whole world right now, nobody can figure out whether or not they're for or against Kyrie Irving, and it stays that way for me today. He's all over the place.
Yeah, I'm a hard against. Francis?
I like hearing stories of camaraderie and support between the NBA and the WNBA. I definitely do. That movie Love and Basketball was one of my favorite movies growing up, especially the scene at the end where the guy goes to watch his wife play her game in the WNBA, and he's got their daughter on his knee. It's adorable, that
Great
movie.
Actually, very underrated.
Yeah, that's a really good movie. But I don't know how real this is, how genuine, and I don't mean to question Kyrie's motives. On the one hand, I think by offering this, he may be trying to, as Robbie said, incentivize the women not to play. And if that is his motive, that's a little kind of godlike. I find it, he's almost becoming like an unemployment check giver in a way. And I don't know. I know it's a hot take, but like, given his history, I have a hard time believing that Kyrie Irving is doing this from the bottom of his heart as some way of like either fixing the wage gap between the two leagues or trying to find some way to do it out of the goodness of his heart. I don't believe he's a good person. So I don't know. I'm not sold, to be honest.
To me, it seems very anti-feminist. Like providing these women with a financial literacy program is like the ultimate mansplain. It's like, you guys haven't seen this much money before, so like we don't want you to spend it on like mani
Yeah,
pedi.
let me
So
drop
some
this
fucking
down on you.
stiff in a
Yeah.
suit is going to teach you how to spend your cash. It seems weird. He's getting a lot of shit for this too, online, and about like, oh, you could have gave it to like underprivileged kids, and you're giving it. The average, I was looking this up, the top annual salary is over 200,000. The average is 130,000 for NBA players. So that's not nothing. 6 figures for a league that's, losing $10 million year after year is not a bad pull for you.
Yeah, it's not bad. And you also have to wonder, that 1.5 million sounds like a lot, but the more women that give up and stop playing, the smaller that pie becomes.
Right.
That's just math. I don't know if you guys are math people.
Just can't get a read on this guy.
Yeah.
I really can't. Something new with him every single day.
Yeah,
Right.
there's I don't know. I'm a Celtics guy. I think you are, Francis, too. So I mean,
Can't.
I'm just at my wit's end with him. Nothing he says is, it always
Yeah.
has to be,
Matt, just to really quick to return to that math point, $1.5 million if 10 women in the WNBA were to opt out and take him up on this, that's $150,000 each, which is a lot.
Yeah.
But if 100 women in the WNBA were to opt out, then it goes from $150,000 to
1,800, no?
it could be $15,000 would be my guess. I think it's $15,000, which is not a lot of money. And if 1,000 women in the WNBA opt out, we're talking $1,500.
1,500?
I mean, this is math, guys.
I mean, I don't
math.
think there are 1,000 WNBA players. I think the roster is 12 players on a roster, and I think there are like 12 teams.
Yeah. Now, hold that thought. If 10,000 WNBA players were to opt out of their contracts, that would mean that they
And you
would
take 2 WM players away.
Yeah. I mean,
How
now we're
much?
talking about $150 a lady. That's insulting, Kyrie. That is insulting. And if all 100,000 WNBA players, I'm kidding, there aren't that many.
I feel like smoke is coming out of my ears. I'm thinking too hard.
Yeah, you are.
All right, fellas.
Now, if 10 WNBA players, go ahead, Matty. We're just fucking with you.
Oh, I know, Robbie. All right, boys. Let's close today's show. Enough with the tomfoolery. Enough with the ballyhoo here. Let's close today's show with some news surrounding our man, Joseph Rogan. Rogan did it this time, pissing off a large swath
is the word. Swath. Yeah.
Not only good at math, but good at English too, Francis.
He does it all. He does it all.
Rounded. They
A
call it.
large swath of the 164 million Americans who partake in the leading form of entertainment today, video games. In his recent JRE episode with fitness guru Joe DeCina, Rogan sounded off on the merits of an industry that raked in $43 billion in annual sales last year. Quote, video games are a real problem. You know why? Because they're fucking fun. You do them and they're real exciting, but you don't get anywhere. And this is, a bunch of Twitter responses here. A guy named Adam Ellis, a guy with nearly 1 million followers that got one of the top likes. He said, video games are an important part of my mental health. I play them when I need a break from work. They enrich my life in the same way movies and books do. Video games aren't a waste of time. Telling someone to enjoy their life is. So Ninja, the top guy here, the millionaire, he posted a video say that there are increasingly more avenues for gamers to have successful and lucrative career in the industry, including streaming, content creation, and coaching. Francis, what's your take on video games?
I saw Ninja's response, and he talked about all these other ways that people can be successful in video games, coaches. He named kind of 4 or 5 things that all sounded like the same thing to me. My question is, we all point to Ninja and how much money he makes, $500,000 a month, crazy money. I'm sure he makes more in endorsements, whatever. What's the next guy And maybe not the next guy, but where's the 10th guy? What's he making? I suspect that esports gamers and the life of trying to make it into being a professional video gamer who makes good money, the top 10, maybe 20 guys are making a living. And then from there, nobody's making any money.
Right.
That would be my guess. Whereas, trying to strive to be an NBA player, it's a total long shot for sure. But there are, thousands of people that are making money in basketball. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
So I don't know. I'd like to see that break down a little bit. I played Math Blaster Pro as a kid, and that taught me my times tables pretty well. And it kind of laid the foundation for me to grow as a young mind and become the intellect that I became. So I don't know if I 100% agree with Joe Rogan, but I also don't think that they're a good, like the guy was like, they're a good escape in the same way that books and TV are. No, they're not.
Yeah.
Call of Duty is not as good of an escape or as good for your mind as reading Faulkner. So don't give me that either. You know what I'm saying?
I'm kind of with you with what you said before the show as far as I don't really understand why this is such a viral story.
Yeah.
I feel like we've been saying this about video games for years and years and years. As soon as Rogan says it, all hell breaks loose. But at the same time, too, he did acknowledge the fact that they're very fun. So it's not like he totally dogged it. The thing that I found funny is somehow he translated video games then to jiu-jitsu. Yeah. And that was the point that he was trying to make. So only Joe Rogan can go from video games and comparing it to jiu-jitsu in just true Joe Rogan fashion. I never really believed this e-game stuff and all of this. We did a thing with Michael B. Jordan at the esports league, the Call of Duty league. It's real.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
official.
real. These guys are intense. It was like walking into a stadium. There was a crowd there. So there's no denying there's certainly a market for it. Whether it's a waste of time or not, that's up for the people to decide. But there is something behind it. There's no question about it.
Do you guys notice that ever since Rogan signed that $100 million Spotify deal, that every opinion he has now is like fodder from like a
so fucking true. You're right about that.
Saying video games are a waste of time is like saying like smoking is bad for you or something. It's like the most generic down the line.
Yep.
And
we used to respond to that by being like, okay, Dad.
Yeah, exactly.
And now it's like, hey, I'm a human being too.
When you drop the mental health in there, people are like, oh, let's
back off. Yeah.
The mental health is such it's been used by such a crock now. It's ridiculous.
Matty, guys, that is so true though. It's such a good point because Rogan had done thousands of episodes before he signed that deal, and nobody would bat an eye except for the people that were listening to him every day, which is a whole lot of people. As soon as he signed that contract, every single take this guy has is scrutinized to another level. Right after that contract.
Yeah, it's insane. Him moving to Texas has been the most trafficked post on our site for like the entire day today. Just
watch how many people in LA move to Texas now. That guy's got a fucking cult behind him.
I know.
Yeah. And let me tell you, LA people, it's one thing to move to a ranch in Texas where you can grow your own elk and shoot them with a bow and arrow and ride fucking bulls and steers and all that stuff. And it's another thing to move to Texas and live in like a second story of a duplex that you're sharing. I mean, you're not following Rogan if you're moving to Texas.
The Jinx Galveston, Texas. Every time I saw it, I was like, oh my God, this is where dreams go to die here.
Yeah.
That's a great point here. But another thing about the Ninja, that when the Ninja said that gaming can be a lucrative, there is esports coaching. You guys know people are like, he was like, that's one of the things he said. Like, do you guys know that's like a fucking.
But why are the coaches not participating in the games? If they're that good at coaching, you would think that they'd be able to. It's not like an athletic ability where Doc Rivers can coach up Kawhi Leonard. Yeah. Doc Rivers can't jump through the fucking roof.
You might be able to coach it. You might be able to. We don't know the complexity. Like, are you a gamer, Robbie?
I'm Madden, so anything sports, I'll do like
Yeah.
Madden, NHL, I do that stuff, but I don't get into like the Call of Duties, which is why I was so out of my element when I walked into this esports arena.
Right.
Yeah.
Dude, you know what? The last thing, or not the last thing necessarily, but one of the problems I have with watching anytime there's like a professionally televised Madden game or whatever is that those two guys who are theoretically two of the best Madden players in the world are playing each other, and it kind of neutralizes it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The only way for me to tell how good an incredible Madden player really is for them to play me and beat me 150 to nothing.
Yeah.
True.
It's so true.
Which is why, to me, it's not a spectator sport. Like, I don't find those things, fun to watch.
No, I don't. And Ninja's like he's like a personality. It's not like he's like, oh, he's got the. But he said that the coaches may not have the physical tool set for that. So apparently there is some physicality that goes into it.
I was working at the hotel when Ninja came in. I had no idea who he was. I was talking to him for like 30 minutes. He's actually a really nice kid. I had no idea who he was.
He seems like a really nice kid. Made 30
Yeah.
million apparently last year. It's more than Giannis. That's more than a lot of those NBA players. So, hey,
It's
more
insane.
power to him. We'll end on that, fellas. That is your Tuesday edition of the Morning Jog. Thank you for listening. We'll be back here tomorrow. We love you. Bye.
Take care, boys.